good morning, everyone. As we all know, the pace of change in digital is creating pressures across organizations. And in particular for creative and marketing teams, your teams, you're under pressure to create more content, more channels, but in less time. And you're working in a global marketplace now. You need to be required to work across multiple teams, multiple geographies, multiple time zones, and potentially, in a lot of cases, working with teams that sit both inside and outside of your organization. And brands, you're looking to be more efficient about how you manage your marketing assets. You're looking to increase collaboration. You want to foster reuse of the valuable IP that you're creating, but at the same time, you want to track and you want to protect the usage of those assets. So this morning, we're going to run a demo and show how Adobe is helping organizations meet some of those challenges end to end. We're going to use a fictitious company, We Healthcare, a pharmaceutical company. And this is We Healthcare's mobile app. And they use this app to push product information out to their healthcare practitioners worldwide. And what we're going to do is we're going to sit down, and Rupert and I are going to brainstorm some ideas. I'm going to be working as a marketing exec in this fictitious scenario, and Rupert's going to be the creative leader at our design agency. And we're going to brainstorm ideas for a new product launch, a new product called Praxil. And Rupert's going to use Creative Cloud in that idea generation and design process. And then we're going to use the cloud to collaborate in the review process. And then I'm going to take those assets into the marketing team and see how we can use those to deliver out into multiple channels. But specifically, we're going to give it an example where we show putting an article announcing the launch of Praxil front and center in this mobile app. So we'll see that later on. So that sets the scene. Rupert, let's do some brainstorming.
Thank you, Matthew. So, as Matthew said, I'm the designer. You can tell because I'm wearing red socks. I left my ponytail at home. So, as we saw earlier, mobile is becoming more important every day. The latest iPads are now as powerful as the average laptop. And creatives are no longer just using them to consume content, they're also using them increasingly to create content. But up until recently, those workflows have been very disconnected. I would create an image, I would save it to my camera roll. It wasn't very easy to transition. But now with Creative Cloud, creative professionals can create anywhere at any time. And we're going to see that in this particular scenario. So we're going to move over to our cafe here. So I'm away from my desk, and I'm working with my customer. And here I've got my iPad up on screen. We've got the various different creative applications. And we're going to go into one of them that's called Comp. And I'm going to brainstorm with Matthew here. So we're going to collaboratively work to create some brand assets for my Praxil campaign. So let's go into Comp, and we're going to create a new composition. Now, in this scenario, I haven't got the funds to commission some photography, so I'm going to use some stock imagery. So let's place a background image here. And we're just using gesture control here. And the nice thing with our mobile apps is they're all directly integrated to Adobe Stock. So Adobe Stock, as we saw, was a library of over 40 million high-quality photographs, illustrations, and videos. And we can search directly from our mobile applications, as well, of course, as from our desktop applications. And you'll see how these seamlessly transition across different applications. So we can browse these images, and we can find one that we want to use. Now, at the moment, these are watermarked images, so I haven't had to license this. So this allows me to place sample images, make sure that everybody's happy before I actually go ahead and make the purchase. So we're going to save this watermarked preview, and let's save that to my library here, and place that as the background. OK. Now, what we can also access directly from my iPad here is libraries. Now, libraries allow me to create a collection of shared assets, and I can share that with other team members, I can share that with my customers, and this ensures brand consistency. So in a library, you could have your logos, your colors, your fonts, various other things in there, and then you can use those throughout your different projects. So you make sure that you're using just the right logo and just the right shade of blue. Okay? So we're going to go to my libraries here, and we're going to grab this grid, and we're just going to add some texture here to the background. And you can see how I can very quickly work here with these elements. Let's just change the transparency. We'll just dial that down a little bit. There we go. And we'll lock that in place. So now we're going to add the name of our product here. So we'll just draw, again, another gesture control here. We're doing, hang on. So that was deliberately made a mistake there to show you how we could delete components. OK, now what I can do here is I can go directly to my library here. And here are my colors. So the same colors I'm picking up from my library. OK, and we're going to choose blue here. OK. And we'll now add in some text. We'll add a heading here. And let's just move this into position. OK. Now, we saw how we could access Adobe Stock. Well, we can also access Adobe Typekit. So Adobe Typekit is a library of over 1,000 different typefaces, and we can access those directly from our mobile application as well here. So this is something that nobody else can do on mobile. So we'll go in here, and we'll choose our font, and we can browse from various different fonts, either online or the ones we've got installed here. And we're going to choose Azo Sans here. OK, and let's just make that bigger. And we'll just put in the name of the product here. Call it Praxel. And let's just make that a little bit bigger. And we can increase the size just by dragging up like that. Position it in place, and we'll just change that color here as well. So you can see how I can work iteratively on these ideas here and start adding in various elements. We're going to add in some additional logos. So we've got these icons that we're sharing here. Again, all within my library. So if we want to use these assets in different projects, we can. And we'll just add in these various different logos here. OK, so let's just resize these, position them. OK, we'll just drag those in here. And then we can select multiple. So we want to make sure that these are all of the same size. And we can just do that here. And we'll align, align top. OK, so there we go. We've got our rough layout. So what do you reckon, Matthew?
I really like the icons, but I especially like the square edges on the text box.
You like those, yeah? You like those specifically, yeah?
Yeah.
OK, well, maybe a bit later on we can experiment with some different designs. But if you think you're happy with that particular design, then what I can do is I'm going to go back to the office, and I can continue working on this particular project. So what we can do here, we've got this, using Creative Sync, we're able to send this work back to our desktop applications. So from here, I've got options to send it to InDesign, I can send it to Illustrator, and I can also send it to Photoshop. So I'll take this composition, and it'll send it back to my desktop application there. Now, the other nice thing with Comp is that if I want to undo one of the actions, we're storing the full history here. So if I just put 3 fingers on the screen and scrub back, you can see how it'll go back through the entire history of what I've just done there. So this really allows me to experiment and play around without having to worry that I've made a mistake, or if I like the design, I can experiment. So it's all about trying different things and seeing how they work, and I can easily go back and forwards. OK, so now I'm going to transition over to the office, which is over here. So we could just switch over, please, to my computer. And here we go. It's already transferred. It's already transferred my image over there for me and opened up Photoshop and copied across. Now, the great thing about this image is the fact it's editable. So if we look down here, and I just zoom in here, we've got all the individual layers. So all the icons are on their own layer. The text is editable. So if at the last minute the client says, actually, we don't want to call it Praxel, we want to call it something else, great, no problem. I can go in and change it. If they decide they don't like italic, great, we can go in and change that. It's all individually editable, which gives me that creative freedom to know I'm not going to have to rework. It's also brought in my stock photography. It would synchronize my fonts as well. So if I was to share this with somebody else that had Creative Cloud, those fonts would automatically get installed on the machine as well. So that real seamless seamless way of working. Now, not only have I got my individual elements, but if we look up here, I've also got my libraries. So the same library elements that we saw on the mobile are also inside Photoshop as well. Okay, that consistency. Okay, so here I've also got styles. So I can choose my icons here. And let me just... And now we can apply styles to those. So we're just going to change those around. And click there. And we'll put some styling on my text here as well. So I can go in and I can make changes. We're going to make some small edits now. We're going to just finesse the design here. So I'm going to come in here and use the quick selection tool. And we're going to quickly draw. OK. So there we go. And we will now select the grid. And add a mask. So we're just going to remove the grid from the face. OK. And I'm showing you this because what will happen is, if I go ahead and license the image, any of the edits I've done, non-destructive edits, will be applied to the non-watermarked version. So I don't need to go and re-edit, change that mask when I re-add the image in. You might have several Adobe stock photographs sandwiched in various layers. Go and license them. They'll just swap out for the correct version. So really quick and easy to do that. So what I want to now do is I want to elicit some feedback from Matthew over there. I'm just going to save my file. File, save as. And I'm going to save it to a Creative Cloud folder that I've set up and shared with my customer, with We Healthcare. Now, with Creative Sync, that allows my customer to be able to preview this composition. But the great thing is, he doesn't need to know anything about Photoshop. He doesn't need to know what a PSD is. He doesn't need to have even a laptop. He's able to review this on his desktop computer or his mobile. So he could be in the bar, he could be in the bus, or he could be in the bath, able to review that. So, so Matthew, maybe you could let me know what you think of my design here.
So here I am in the bath. Thank you for that curveball, Rupert. And I can review this on my device. So here I am with my phone, and I'm looking at the image. I quite like that image. But Rupert's crucially missed out the corporate logo. So what I want to do is send Rupert a comment to say that I want him to add the logo. So there we go. That's going now.
OK, so the nice thing with the comments is anybody can add comment. Anybody who's got access or I've shared that with can add comments to that. And we can see a history of comments as well on that particular illustration, that particular drawing. And we can also go and look online as well and see a history. It's a very loose workflow in that regard, so it's not a formal workflow. We can do those sorts of formal workflows in our Marketing Cloud. There you go. You see the notification on the top right that's just come in from Matthew? So that notification then pops in and lets me know there's a new comment. There we go. We just see it here. So, Rupert, I really like the background, imagery, and the font treatment. Please, would you add the Wii version 1 minute ago? OK, no problem. We can do that. So we'll go and find the logo, which, of course, is in my library here. Let's add that in. And just scale that down a bit. Pop it there. OK, and click Go. OK, so the last thing we're going to do is to license the image as well. So we'll come in here, and I can just right-click on this image, on this background image, and go License Image. And if you've got credits, it's going to, are you sure you want to do this? Click OK. And that's now going to pull down the high-res version of that image and replace it here. And the great thing is, if I go back to my iPad as well, it'll go, oh, you've licensed that image. And in that comp, it'll update it there as well. And then once I'm happy with that, again, we can save this image out, and we can save it to Creative Cloud. And what we're going to set up here is we've got a Creative Cloud folder synchronized with the Marketing Cloud. This allows us to feed creative assets into the marketing tools that my customer uses. So that will then allow them to take that image. It will allow them to synchronize it and use it in different campaigns and in different ways. So there we go. You see how the watermark has gone? Okay, and that little ID number's gone there. So it's now a licensed image. I haven't had to re-drag the image in or change any layers. Okay, so let me now save this. Okay, and we're going to set this up to synchronize with the Marketing Cloud. So we're able to send this over to Matthew's organization to allow them to pick it up and follow through. So Matthew, can I hand back to you?
Thank you, Rupert. So a quick recap. We sat down, we brainstormed some images. Rupert was able to use the Creative Cloud to pull assets in and aid that process. Then he was able to sync that all back up so he could go straight back to his desktop and work on finalizing those images. He was also able to use the cloud to get collaboratively to get feedback from me. And now I'm back at my desk at We Healthcare, and I want to work with these assets with my marketing teams. So I'm using AEM, Adobe Experience Manager. And as you can see over on the nav over there, the left-hand nav, I can manage lots of different experiences from within a single environment. I can be looking at sites, which could be my website, my intranet, mobile apps, digital screens, publications, but crucially, I'm doing that all from one centralized set of assets. So I can set permissions for my marketing teams and my creative teams so they can access the correct assets and the correct workflows. But crucially, that's all controlled. So I can aid collaboration. I can sensibly reuse these assets in multiple channels, but I can also track and protect the usage. So we really are handing back control to the business in many senses. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the assets that Rupert has uploaded. They've synced through to my Marketing Cloud, and they've gone through a sign-off process. So they're ready for me to use. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to navigate here to the Apps section, and then across to our We Healthcare app. Now I'm in the Management Console for the app, and I want to go to the Articles section, and I need to find the article. One of my team has already uploaded some copy, and I just want to add the new image in. So here we go. I've selected the article, and there we go. I want to edit that, select the image, and because I'm working from a central DAM, the assets are already there. So I select the asset that Rupert's created, add it in, and we're done. Right, so it was as simple as that. I just edited the record, and away we go. Right now I want to go back to my article list, find the article again. It was at the bottom last time, so yep, there it is again. Select that, and because I have the correct permissions, I can upload that directly to the mobile app. So here we go, it's uploading. And, well, while we're waiting for that, so crucially, this is all run through templates. So my marketing team are using templates. They're not having to write a single line of code to do any of this. We're controlling the interface for the mobile app, we're controlling the look and feel, but my marketing and creative teams are dropping assets straight in and can control how it goes live. Now, not all of my team have the permission to upload. I restrict that so only a few of us can actually impact the app. So it's uploaded now. Where did my tablet go? Here we go. Let me grab this, and what we'll see is there's the app. And hopefully, yes, there it is, update available. If I click on that, and there we have it. The articles come straight through. And if I tap through, we can see that the article is fully populated with the copy that my team put in earlier. So, there we go. So as a marketeer, I'm able to work with my creative teams right through to the endpoint and putting those assets into multiple channels. In this specific case, we've used a mobile app. So we're really helping organizations with that whole end-to-end piece. And finally, we've got integrated Adobe Analytics. I can measure the performance of these assets. So I can track how popular the content is, how much it's getting used. I can understand user demographics and segment my audience based to understand who's looking at what. This is about performance, and it's about return on investment. And what we're looking to do here is able to feed this straight back into my marketing teams and creative teams. So if, say, the US audience are not clicking through from my introducing Praxel article to request more product information, I can address that from a marketing perspective and see how we can engage those US viewers more effectively. So what you can see is we've got here for end-to-end, we're feeding the Adobe Analytics back into the content creation process so that as teams, we're constantly upping our game.
Okay, thank you, Matthew. So hopefully you've seen in this workflow, this amuse-bouche, if you like, of what the art of the possible is. So the idea of being able to create content on the fly, collaboratively work with customers on mobile devices, transition to the desktop in a non-destructive way, the integration to our various different cloud services, libraries, stock, type kit, and then feed that into various marketing tools to allow those teams to be able to leverage those assets. So it's all about make, manage, and measure. So if you'd like to find out a little bit more, Matthew and myself will be around in the demo area outside, and we're more than happy to discuss that with you afterwards. Anyway, thanks for your time.
Thank you very much.